Do students that are BD or at risk need additional support when transitioning from middle school to high school? So two of the research questions that I really would like to ask that are kind of my umbrella questions are, what are some of the common areas that students labeled at risk or BD identify as areas of opportunity? And then on top of that, which of those opportunities can we create a program around to boost our success in high school? So in my literature review, what I found is that without research, we do not know how to adequately support these students as they move through their education. We know how to support them from not dropping out, but we don't know how to help them with the specific strategy of transitioning while they're at risk in their teen years. And without these skills, they just lack the transition properly. And students with behavior disorders or labeled at risk struggle with dropping out. They need a mentor. They do not have locus of control. They have low self-esteem. They're dealing with trauma. And all of these issues cause them to struggle as they transition. So for my research design, I want to conduct my research in a middle school, high school, utilizing my convenient samples of my 8th graders, primarily boys, just because I don't have girls in my program. Before I recruit my 8th graders, I will go to the high school and talk to a group of freshman teachers with the goal to being able to speak to an English, social studies, science, math, a counselor, behavior support teacher, and admin, all in a group panel that all deal with freshmen. These teachers will assist in telling the story of the average freshman, and I'll ask them a series of questions. All these interviews will be recorded so that I can transcribe them. Second, I will recruit 3 to 4 students that either are labeled BD or labeled at risk in the middle school to go to the high school for different experiences. These experiences will be touring the school, maybe meeting personnel, sitting in on a class or two, going to PE, eating lunch, and other things that I just deem necessary after talking to the high school teachers. I will observe these students as they go through each of the experiences. They will attend 4 to 8 different experiences. I'll be monitoring them for body language, what they say, facial expressions, and any avoidance or elopement from any or each experience individually. I'll keep a tab and a log to see what I see and how often I see these behaviors. Next, I will be having a recap meeting with each of these students individually to see what they thought about the experience. I'll be asking them specific questions with little to no extra probing. And then these interviews will also be recorded and transcribed. These 3 methods to triangulate my data to show what is important in the transition from middle school to high school for freshmen with BDs or labeled at risk. The ethical concern I need to be considered with are the disclosing information that could potentially harm my participants, so I need to make sure that I use pseudonyms, same with ages, race. In this convenient sample, that I work with the 8th graders, I want to see how they socially struggle when they transition in 9th grade based on their IS or integrated services, based on behavior or their ACE. The teachers will be chosen for this project based on each of their content areas. They will all work at the high school, but they'll have differences in gender, race, age, and experience, which I will be asking if I can disclose those information. I will gain access by explaining the reason for my study and why I want to conduct this study and my study's future. Interviewing and observations as my 2 ways to collect data, because I am using phenomenon genre in my qualitative research. I wanted to make my interviews more holistic. While interviewing teachers, I want to understand their perspective while deepening my understanding of the students as an integrated service program through those teachers' eyes and their knowledge and expertise on their students. I use the standardized open-ended interview to conduct mine because these allow you to stick more to a schedule and to ask all participants the same question in the same order. My data analysis, I will complete interviews with the groups of teachers and individuals after each interview at the high school. Each of the students will take an ACE survey before being selected and being labeled at risk. And I'll triangulate these 3 data sources to find common themes, 8th graders, while they transition to high school. So my limitations. So the limitations of this is really that it's just a really small sample size and a small amount of time that the students have at the high school to really explore it or even explore the program. Potential implication is that the natural implication will be that there needs to be more research after the study. There will also be more than likely the need to have curriculum developed around this concept for students with BDs or labeled at risk with additional support when they are transitioning from middle school to high school.